Hey, welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And today is my weekly update number 62, and it is May 5th, 2024. Now, usually it's a week that I show everything I completed in the week, but today is going to be 2 weeks because I didn't do a weekly video last week or any other videos just because, well, the whole house kind of got sick. So, I have been working on things. I didn't get anything done at the long arm just because the long arm isn't here. It's at my parents' house. And I've been here trying to get over this illness. But I did get a lot of other things done. I think I finished 3 quilt tops. I finished my cloak cape thing that I was working on for crochet. I finished a cross stitch project. I finished a diamond painting. And many other things we're going to take a look at. So, like I said, there's no long arm quilting to show this week because I didn't do anything. But I did finish 3 quilt tops. So, let's hang them up, take a look at them. So, this is the first top I finished. Now, this is a pattern from Ambience. It's from a Sew Sampler project from a while ago, but I just got it finished. Sorry about the noise. I got the windows open. We don't get a lot of cars, but that one we did. Okay. And here's a better look at it. That's what the pattern looks like. Now, when I hung it up, we turned it around, so these were going the other way. But that's okay. We'll go in, take a closer look. So there's the top of it. Just working our way down. Now I know this was used, this was made using a Zen Chic line of fabric. I don't remember what the line of fabric was, but obviously it was made with 2.5-inch strips or jelly roll. Now this was finished last week, the week I didn't do a video, so it's been sitting there. It's got all those wrinkles in it, but that's okay. Alright, so that is the first top I finished. Now let's hang up the second one. And this is the second quilt top I finished this week. This is a pattern called Candy Lane. And this is just a half pack quilt. What that is at the quilt shops, they have 5 half-yard cuts of fabrics all packaged together, and then when you buy it, you pick out a pattern. And that was the pattern I picked out. So we'll go in and take a closer look at everything. Okay, so there's the top, and we're just working our way down. Just some little pinwheels there with some strips of fabrics in it. Very simple quilt. Okay, that's all there is to that one. Now let's go to the third one. And this is the third quilt top I finished. Now this is also from a previous Sew Sampler box, and this pattern is Ma Cherie. And it's all done. We'll go in, take a closer look at it. So we'll start at the top here, and we're just going to work the way down. And it is all finished. Okay, now look at everything I've done in piecing, and it's a lot. Now I have done month 3 of the Rose and Bloom block of a month. Now this was a book that Sew Sampler, for the Sew Sampler members, had said that you could get for free with a purchase, which I had did, and I bought this book. So I'm doing these blocks 1 month at a time, just like a typical block of a month. Now, I know Fat Quarter Shop did this block a month a couple years ago, but I'm just doing it now, like I said, 1 block a month. So I finished month 3's, and they were, again, simple blocks. Those were those, and these were just month 1's, those. And then these were month 2's, or I'm sorry, these are month 2's. These were month 3's, and sometime this month in May I will do month 4. And once again, this will be the finished product when it's all done. Okay, so we did that. And let me pull some other stuff out. Now, last year I had done the Cotton Cuts Gnome of the Month blocks, where they had a boy gnome, a girl gnome, and 2 accent blocks. I got all the blocks and then I put it together in a little quilt. And these are hanging over the back of my couch. Now, this is May's with the little graduation gnome there. That's the other side of it. Now, the reason I show this is because with those blocks that they sent, these were all pre-cut, and they sent a lot of extra pieces just to do whatever with, in case you wanted to change the gnome up in any way. Now, at first, I was just using those extra pieces as just some enders and leaders and sewing all over them and kept reusing them. And then I'm like, well, why don't I just start sewing them together? So I did. And all these half square triangles sewn together into these blocks. And there's a bunch of them here. Well, I think there's 12 or 13. So I just sewed up all those pieces willy-nilly to make these blocks here. Now, what I'm going to do is the actual square blocks, the 2.5-inch squares, I'm going to start sewing those all together into some 16 patches. Like these are basically 16 patches. And then I'm going to alternate them and put them all into a big quilt top. So, I get an extra quilt. So this week I finished sewing all of those half square triangles together into those blocks. Now I just have to work on getting the 2.5-inch squares all sewed together. Okay, well, let me pull some more things out. Now those triangles, half square triangles that I sewn together, I did always only use those as leaders and enders. So if you saw me some of my videos working on and saw those, that's what I was doing. I was working on sewing those together as I was working on my other projects, just as leaders and enders. Okay, so since I finished a sew sampler box, I started another sew sampler box. And this is what I'm working on now, this wipeout pattern, just like the snail trails blocks. Now this is used with some foundation paper piecing. I don't know what month this is, but it's a couple years old. So I've cut all the pieces out. And like I said, we will use this foundation paper piecing to put it together. However, with this snail trail paper piecing blocks, you need to sew the centers in the 4 patches before you actually start the paper piecing. So that's what these are here, pinned together to work on getting those sewn into 4 patches. And like I said, it's all cut out. So we did that. And then I also worked a little on a jolly bar pattern. Now a jolly bar is a exclusive pre-cut to Fat Quarter Shop, which is 5 by 10 inches, which is like half of a layer cake. And when those jolly bars come, they come with a quilt pattern that I'm not seeing here. It's here somewhere. So they do come with a quilt pattern, and this is the quilt pattern that came with this particular layer cake I got, which was Strawberry Lemonade. Now some of these patterns do require 2 jolly bars, but I had only bought the 1 jolly bar, and I didn't want to do this quilt pattern. I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I used one of my jolly bar books. And this is what I'm doing with the Strawberry Lemonade, is I'm making this quilt pattern. So this is where I am. I made some 4 patches, half square triangles, and then this would all be put together into more 4-patch type units. Like that, it's hard to see. But I've got that all that stacked, pinned, just like that. They're all pinned, ready to sew. So I worked on that. And I had started on another sew sampler box. Well, that started. I'd already started on it. I worked some more. And this is the Daydreamer quilt pattern. Let's see if I can see where this one's from. This one is January of 2022 is this box. So this is what it looks like. So I've made these individual units and now I'm starting to sew them together into that like 4 at a time type thing. So let's take a look. So we've got that will be a top. This is the middle like sashing strip that goes in here. And that, oops, goes the other way. Goes like that. And I've got the whole pile pinned, ready to sew like that. So I also worked some more on this. Now this comes from Polar Fabrics over in Indiana, and this is a 5 1-yard pack or bundle of fabric that you can buy, and then when you buy that you get a free pattern with it. And this is the pattern I picked out. And so I basically have the center of all this put together, and I'm just working on putting the smaller border around, and then I've got the larger border. So I've got the smaller border pinned on the sides, and we'll open it up, take a look at it. So this is what it's looking like. Now I do have that folded over, but it's the same thing, so I'm just going to leave it folded over. Now once again, I get asked a lot about all the projects I work on, and like I said before, I do everything in a rotation. I think there's about 14 different projects I rotate through, and I have them in each little bin or a bag, and there's 2 projects in each, and I work on that. Whether that be sewing at the sewing machine, I will sew everything I need to sew at the sewing machine because I usually have everything already pinned. Then after I do sewing, I will go work like a length of thread through cross stitch, and then I will work some crochet and then diamond painting, and then I will come back to my sewing, and since I've got everything sewed, then I will press and pin some more, and then I will go back to cross stitch. And that's how I do it. I know that's just how it keeps things changing, and I never get bored, and plus it keeps me up and moving to different areas because I all do those things in different areas of the house, if that makes sense. But that's just how I do it. And I am also not one that can just sit and watch TV. I have to have my hands doing something. So my husband will watch these crazy sci-fi things that I have no interest in, and it's kind of funny. Well, I'll be sitting there doing whatever, not paying attention to what he's watching, but that's okay. He likes it, and I'm happy. Now, what else did I work on? Oh, got a few more things. Let me put this back so I don't get them mixed up. Okay. Then I started working on another half pack quilt, which again is a 5 half-yard cuts of fabrics all packaged together, and then you pick out a pattern that you want to use that fabric for. And I'm using it for this picnic basket quilt. I can't really show you a picture of it because it's got the dimensions and everything on it, so I can't really show you the picture of it. But what I can show you is these little blocks. So I've cut these out to my different A, B blocks. And then we got some C's, D blocks Right on, that's the back of the fabric. There we go. And some D strips that will all be put together into a quilt. And then this is cut out for a border all the way around it. So I cut that out. Like I said, just started on that. That's going to be a pretty simple quilt piece together. So I did that. Then I also worked some more on this pattern. Now this was a free pattern that I had got. And this is Encompassed. And this is from Wilmington Batiks. There we go. There's the actual pattern of what it is. Now when I did this, I started out making this smaller one. However, I did have enough to make this bigger one. I did have to substitute some fabrics up here, which is going to be right here and right here on it. But other than that, I've worked it out so I can make the bigger one. So we are starting off. Okay, so here's where we are. These like little star units, they are pinned together. And there's 4 of these. So like I said, that is pinned and that is pinned. And then we have these little units, which that center fabric there all has a different fabric in it. But they will basically go around this, which is kind of going to turn it like that a little bit. So a little bit on point. And there are 4 of those, and those go put together. Let me show you again. To make this whole center thing. And then we've got a bunch of other things. But I have all of that pinned out, or cut out, and I'm starting to work on that. Pin those all together. Now, these is mostly done with batiks. There are a couple just regular quilting cottons. However, they look like batiks. So it all looks like a batik quilt. And that's okay. You can mix your quilting cottons with batiks. It doesn't all have to be batiks. Now, the other thing I worked on as far as piecing is the new Sew Sampler Block of the Month Peaceful Baskets. So let's see. There is the block. And this is my block. I have it done. There we go. Now I will say it doesn't show up too bad on the camera, but this half square triangle right here is a little off. But that's okay, because once you put it all in the quilt and quilt it, you're not going to notice it. It'll all quilt out. So, that's everything I've worked on for the last 2 weeks as far as piecing goes. Now, let's move on to my cross stitch. So I've been working on the sampler of the months from Cottage Country Needleworks. Let me get it over here. So here's May, and I finished May. And this is what mine looks like. There it is. Now I do have this wooden like easel thing I'm going to finish them all on, and since this is May and May's just started, I'm hoping to start finishing this week, and I'm going to like finish May and April and make a video on that. That's my plans. No promises, but that's what I want to try and do this week, is to do that and get those video out on how I finish those, as well as I've got a couple like haul unboxing videos that are sitting over there that I got last week that I just couldn't do. And I've started working on June's, but not haven't made much progress. I literally just started working on June's last night. So, wait, that's May. You already know what May is. Where'd my June go? So I think I did that backwards, but that's okay. That's what May looks like. And this is June's. Here's where I am. There's some windows, and there's like, I think these are like clouds over there. But that's as far as I've got on that. Now, let's move to my crochet. Now, I have been working on this, they call traditional cloak and Curvy Girl Crochet MacBook. Now, my buttons are not this, and it is not blue. It's done in this variegated purple cakes because I used some mandala yarn. It is all done. And I will show you what it looks like. So this is mine. Those are my buttons. There it is. And there's the armholes. And there's the other armhole there. So that is all done. So, since I finished that, I had to start working on something else. So I went to some socks. Started working on a couple socks here. Now this came from a subscription box that I used to get from Lether Co. It was a Hooked on Socks box. They no longer offer this subscription. But it comes with a fingering weight hank of yarn and a fingering weight mini skein of yarn, which the blue would be the mini skein here. And this is the sock pattern, Big Bend National Park socks. And these are my socks. Now I still have to weave some ends in and finish it. There's my socks. Now these did come out a little bit big, but that's okay, because sometimes in the winter I need to put on a couple pair of socks, so that just means that can go on. Now I can usually get 2 pair of socks, and I usually do the medium sock size. I can usually get 2 pair of socks out of these. So I'm starting on another set, and because these were big, I went down 2 hook sizes and a little less rows. So I've adjusted a little bit to make these a little bit smaller. And here's where I am. And I got this yarn left. Now I probably will not have enough yarn to put all 3 stripes in here. So I've already started putting this first stripe in right there, that blue. So I will probably work this stripe with this yarn, not put it in, and then work all the way up, and then just put 1 row finishing on the end, so that way I can have 2 socks that look just the same, because there just isn't a lot of that blue left, and I think I can probably manage to do that. But I do think there'll be enough to finish the 2 socks. It's just going to be slightly different with the stripes, but that's okay. So I worked on that. And I got one more thing to show you. Let me put that up and I'll grab the last. And I finished my diamond painting. This is the Rose Garden, and it was a painting by Thomas Kincaid. But I finished it. It's all done. I did start working on another diamond painting, but there's really not much progress. So I'm just not even going to show it today. Alright, so that's everything I've worked on in the last 2 weeks. Till next time, bye! So, it's editing me. I realized I forgot 2 projects I didn't show you. So let me show you now. Now these are quilting, piecing projects. So, I had started on another sew sampler project because I had finished 2 of them. So I pulled out 2 more boxes and I started on this quilt pattern, which is Swallow's quilt pattern. This is an Elizabeth Hartman pattern, I believe. from Fat Quarter Shop. Hold on just a second. Let me look. Okay, maybe it's not Elizabeth Hartman. Maybe I'm just crazy, but that's okay. But regardless, I did start on this, and I've cut everything out. And I've just started on the first steps of pinning some things together. But, you know, I've got my whole stack here. It's already cut, ready to go. There's the blue that I'm using. So, and then these are wovens. So I did do that, and I worked some more on another sew sampler project that I've been working on for a while. And this is the Shooting Stars quilt pattern. And I've got that top all pinned together. So basically, I just have to sew this. Next time I go to the sewing machine, this will be done. No, I guess it won't be because it does have some white border around it. So I guess I do have to put the white borders around. But it's almost done. So we got that. Like I said, those rows are all pinned together. And that's what it looks like. Okay. So I think that's everything now. All right, till next time. Bye.